Well, it now marks 1 year since a devastating flash flood killed 2 people and destroyed much of a historic Maryland town. While most businesses in Ellicott City have since reopened, some remain closed forever. We went back to the site today to report on the town's rebirth. An eclectic mix of art galleries, antique shops, and restaurants in Ellicott City are making a comeback after a sudden flood this time last year wiped out much of the historic town's infrastructure. 1 year ago today, this was as far as the public was allowed to venture into Ellicott City. As you can see behind me, everything is up and running now, but much of the infrastructure at that time was deemed too unsafe to venture into. The city sits on a giant slope. When the rains came barreling in, all of the water drained downhill. These were the businesses that were hit the worst. Today, much of the area has recovered and many businesses have reopened their doors.
There was a lot of water damage throughout the basement. It was actually up to the ceiling. The bar was affected. We had to replace the bar, the whole center area, some of the tables, the kitchen, almost everything was replaced.
There was 7 feet of water inside my building and 15 feet below my building.
Berkowitz owns the building where his business is located. On that fateful day last year, tenants that live upstairs were trapped.
Once the water receded, we came in and met our tenants who were trapped on the second floor rear apartment. And we had them break down the door to the laundry room between the 2 apartments, and they came out the front door.
Max Crownover and his wife have reopened their business, Horse Spirit Arts Gallery.
My wife was here the night of the flood, and she watched as the waters rose. She was actually downstairs until the water was up to her chest, trying to protect things and save things. We lost $55,000 worth of art on the first floor, plus all of our infrastructure.
But not all businesses have been so lucky. Some completely shut down. Others, such as Bertali's, are still rebuilding and promise to return. Last August, we interviewed the owner of Out of Our Past Antiques. Steve Collins said the business had no flood insurance, so their store was a total loss.
A car apparently floating down the river we're on kind of a corner, floated into the front of the shop, broke out the window. A gusher started from inside and just carried all our stuff out.
Howard County has spent nearly $11 million to repair the town's infrastructure. The nonprofit Ellicott City Partnership set up a website for donations and collected nearly $2 million to help dozens of shop owners. Officials say to date, 90% of businesses have reopened and more than 70% of households have returned. Now, last week, Howard County Executive Alan Kittleman announced that another $18 million in long-term work upstream on the Patapsco River. Officials say they hope to control the flow of water to reduce the likelihood of another damaging flood in the historic town.
Wow, so a lot of good stories there. So many stores have reopened, but you mentioned that a restaurant that you frequented the most still is shuttered.
Yes, the Rumor Mill, which was voted one of Maryland's top restaurants, a gourmet, excellent restaurant. It has yet to reopen, so hopefully one day it will.
Yeah, for our tummies, right?
Right, right.